Hey guys, welcome back. So like the title says, we are going to be cream contouring, and like I have said in a handful of videos and I've mentioned in past favorites videos, I have been obsessing with cream contouring lately just because I feel like it holds the contour so much better and it looks so much cleaner, I guess I could say. I just love the way it looks. Ew. I just love the way that it looks, and because I'm oily, I feel like my contour stays a lot better and a lot stronger throughout the day, and especially if I'm going to be out all day or if it's a special event, which is normally when I tend to cream contour. It's not something that I do on a daily basis. But besides the point, as you can see, I have no bronzer or contour or highlight or anything like that on, so that is what we are going to do. Before we get into the actual video, I just want to mention a few cream contour products that I have been loving and that I have. And just a quick disclaimer that they are all high-end products, so you can either find them at Sephora or Nordstrom. If you have any drugstore cream products that you are absolutely obsessed with, please leave it in the comments down below so I can check it out and try it for myself, and then like let everyone else know if there's a good cream contour product at the drugstore. So yeah. Leave in the comments down below. Let's get started. Okay, so the very first product that I want to mention, I actually mentioned it in my last favorites video, and it is the Chanel, what do you call it, Bronze Universal Bronzer, the Soleil de Tan de Chanel. And I mentioned this in my last favorites video because I was on the fence about buying it, and obviously it was my favorites video because I bought it and I fell in love with it. I normally only use this bronzer when I'm going out, like at night, or if it's a special event like a wedding or, you know, whatever, something special. And I absolutely love this product. I've used it non-stop and I've barely made the slightest dent in it at all. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So this is one of the cream contour bronzers that you can use to cream contour with. How many times am I going to say cream contour in this video? It is absolutely fantastic. Yes, it is expensive. It's like it's probably like the most expensive cream product that I have, and it is just a bronzer, but like I said, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. Mainly use it for special events, but I have nothing bad to say about it. Just like in my favorites video, I have just nothing bad to say about it. I really like it, and yeah, so that's number one. I'm gonna try and go from like high end to lower ish end, but like I said, they're all high end products. I'm just gonna go from like the top to the bottom, or try my hardest to do that. Then this next product, I haven't talked about it on camera yet, but it was in my, well, technically I have, because my favorites video is going to go up before this one. So technically I have talked about it, but not. Anyways, it is the Mercier Contour Kit, and let me just flip it like this. And this ranges at around $50, but it is a full kit. You have 1, 2, 3 actual contour shades, and it has a highlight shade that is yellow and then a highlight shade that is more of like a bronzy color, and this yellow is really pretty, but this is not something that I would use like underneath my eyes or to like clean up the contour. It's something that I would use as like a yellow highlight, like an actual highlight on my cheekbones. But the second highlight shade is a bronzy highlight with like gold reflex in it, and if I were to use that, I would probably just use a little bit of that and just swirl it along my cheeks and then leave it as that, if that makes any sense at all. So I really love this contour kit. I've been using it non-stop. I wanted to use it for a good amount of time before I started talking about it on camera and make sure that I really liked it, and this is actually what I'm going to be using to contour in this video today. And we have the Smashbox contour sticks, and I've also mentioned these in a favorites video. These are awesome. It is a kit of 3. You have the contour shade, the bronzing shade, and then you have the highlighting shade. And I actually really like these as well. I think these are really good if you are a makeup artist and you want to put something like this in your freelance kit. I think it's genius for something like that because you could just clean it off really quick and then move on to the next client. So the highlight I normally use to clean up the contour. Even if I'm not using the actual contour stick, I'll grab this and just clean up my highlight. But the contour stick in this kit is fantastic. I haven't really played around with the bronzing stick yet, but I will get around to doing that. But overall, I really love this set. And then lastly, this is actually what made me fall in love with cream contouring. It is the Decca Lowlight Sculpting Perfector. Yeah, it's the Decca Lowlight Sculpting Perfector, and this is what, like I said, this is what made me fall in love with cream contouring because it is super buildable. This is more on the ashy side, which is kind of more where you would want your powdered contour to go. Yeah, so it's a little bit more ashy, but it's super buildable, and I absolutely love it. And this is just one of my holy grail products, and I was debating between using this or the Mercier contour kit. Since I've been using the Mercier contour kit so much, I figured that I would just use what I've been using for the last like 2 months. So now that I have you all zoomed in and like all up close and personal, we are going to start contouring. So the very first thing that I do is I take the Sigma Precision, the P84 brush, just because it is so small and dense, and it fits perfectly into the hollows of the cheeks. And then I go in with the Luxe 504 large angled brush, which is a brush that I got in, I think, my Ipsy bag, and I love this brush. So I start with this guy, and then I go in with this guy to blend it all out. So as you can see, I only have foundation on. I have no concealer, no blush, bronzer, highlight, anything like that, because cream always goes before powder. So always keep that in mind. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do half my face just to show you. Obviously, I'm not gonna like leave the house like that, but I'm just gonna start off showing you on one side of my face compared to the other side, if that makes sense. So let's get started. So in the Mercier kit, like I said, you get 3 actual contouring shades. So anyone from maybe like 1 or 2 shades lighter than me all the way up to a pretty deep skin tone can use this kit, and then it comes with 2 highlighting shades. So I'm going to go in with the Sigma brush first, and I'm going to mix the first and the second shade together. Once I have a little bit on the brush, I just like to dab it off on the back of my hand so I don't release too much product onto my face. So I'm just going to go in and just start tapping where I would normally put my bronzer. If it helps you to make the fishy face, go ahead and do that. But I start off just patting, and I go all the way from the top of the ear all the way to the corner of my eye, like so. And it looks really, really harsh, but we are going to blend it out like crazy, so no need to worry about that. And then once I get that line down, I just like to start flicking it up, still with the little Sigma brush. Go in with the Luxe brush and just start blending it out. And just like when you powder contour, you want to make sure that you stay above the line and not below it. Whoop. So just like so. I'm going to go back in with the Sigma brush and go just into powder number 1. Again, dab off the excess on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to hit the top of my forehead. I'm going to push it all the way back into the hairline and then just draw out where I want it to go. And I don't have like a super large forehead. Well, I don't think I have a super large forehead, but I still like to contour just to kind of bring everything together. And then of course back with the Luxe brush and blending it back into the hairline. Going back into the contour shade number 1 and 2, I'm going to hit my jawline. And with cream contouring, I like to draw a line all the way across my jawbone just because it's easier to blend out. And then I also take it underneath my chin, because I have a little bit of like a natural double chin in like certain angles, and I like to try and contour it as best as possible, and I try and hide it. So I just take that right along the jawline, blend it out just a little bit with the Sigma brush, and then I go back in, of course, with the Luxe brush and blend that out as well, going down my neck. If you ever feel like you got a little too heavy-handed on the jawline, your cheekbone, or your forehead, you can always go back in with your beauty blender or your brush or however you applied your foundation and just kind of clean it up that way until you are ready to until you're almost done and really want to clean it up. So I take it down my jaw and then whatever is left over down my neck. In with the Sigma brush, and I'm going to mix the 2 colors together and hit underneath my lip. I'm already wearing lipstick, but This is what I do when I cream contour, so I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do it. So just take a little bit underneath the lip. Just going to make it a little bit more pouty and make it look a little bit more full. And since I have such small little lips, this is a necessity. Then once I am done with my lip, I take whatever is left over on the Sigma brush and I start to contour my nose just a little bit. And I only ever really do this on the sides of the nose. I don't go into like a full-blown like nose contour. I just like to make my nose look a little bit slimmer, and then from the side I try to make it look a little bit smaller because homegirl's got a big old Greek nose. And once I have the marks out, I just like to drag a little bit of it down the side of my nose. And I know in the viewfinder it looks a little harsh right now, but I promise in person it is not that harsh. It doesn't look like I have mud down my nose. So then I'm gonna go back in with the Beauty Blender and just blend the nose contour out, because this is the one that you want to look the most natural because people see your nose first. So just go ahead and blend it out with the Beauty Blender. And then to clean up the nose contour, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of my concealer, which I will use underneath my eyes in a minute, which is just the Urban Decay Naked Skin, and just really, really blend it out now and highlight that center area. Just like that. Okay, so once I have the contour pretty much almost done, I like to go back in the cheekbone area and just sculpt it out a little bit more and kind of build it up a little more. With cream contouring, I feel like I can go a little bit heavier handed because I can blend it out, compared to when I have powder, it's a little bit harder to blend out. So I'm gonna go back in and draw the line. And this time I'm gonna drag it a little bit underneath my cheekbone to kind of sculpt out my cheekbone just a bit. So as you can see, this cheek just looks a little bit more fuller and higher up on my face, and then when I smile, it's just the apple of my cheek is just a little bit more pronounced compared to this one, where it still is fine, but this is just a little bit higher and more sculpted out. So you can see from my forehead, this side just looks a little bit smaller and more shaded in. Both sides of both sides of my nose are contoured because it's kind of hard to compare one side to the other without the whole thing. So both sides of the nose are contoured. And then my jawline on this side is contoured compared to this one where it is not. Oh, and what I forgot to mention before is that if your cream contour gets a little sloppy and a little messy and like below the line where you would like it, this is the time where you can go in with your concealer or something like the MAC Prep and Prime or one of the Smashbox contouring sticks. So since this is just sitting in front of me, this is what I'm going to go in with. Or if you don't want it to be highlighted, you can just go in with a little bit of foundation and just clean it up. So I'm just going to take this right underneath the contour and then just blend it out. Just to make sure that everything is really blended out before I go in with powders, I just take my Beauty Blender and really blend everything out. And then I will go in with my concealer and then blend it out again. So, guys, so like I said, I went back in and did my concealer and all my powders. And really quickly, I just want to mention what I used for concealer today. I used the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Warm Light. To set that concealer, I went in with the Mercier Translucent Powder. I will talk more about this. I have talked more about this in my June favorites, which will go up before this one because I'm going to film it after. For bronzer, I went in with the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. Like I've mentioned before, obsessing with this guy in the shade number 20. It's a fantastic bronzer. And for blush today, which I also mentioned in my June favorites video, is the new Urban Decay blush in the shade Video, and that is what I used on my cheeks today. And then for highlight, I went in with Becca's Opal, which, devastating, it broke. Like, it is shattered into a million pieces. So that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!